Hi everyone, I've just seen Gazer. I urge you to see this film. This is really important. We need films like this to be made. The director has made it in between shifts as I think an electrician or working in, I think, a blue collar job in the US, which is really the subject of the film, uh, post industrial US landscape. How did he and his lead actor get it together to make this film? How has it ever made it to distribution? Unbelievable achievement, because not only is it beautifully shot and makes the streets and the surfaces and the machinery of New Jersey and its post industrial world shine and hit the camera like something out of Antonioni or Pasolini or one of the great directors of the middle of the last century, but also it is genre bending. It does something Cronenbergian, something Lynchian, and I use all of these adjectives because it doesn't wear any of its influences lightly. I spot Don't Look Now as well at a crucial moment, by the way, which made me really happy because I love that film. This is a film that loves cinema, that is bursting with energy and commitment to cinema. And we need films like this. We need to support them. Go out there and see this movie. It will frighten you because it is quite scary, but it will also, apart from shredding your nerves, it will keep your attention. Cleverly, the first act is actually paced quite slowly, and then we see everything change, change, and change again as it moves through its play with genre and its tightening psychological storyline. It's about a woman who is suffering from a degenerative brain disease, and it's also about her husband's ambiguous death that she remembers as a suicide, but she's got a degenerative brain disease, so is her memory accurate? And it's also about the plot that she gets kind of inveigled into because of her vulnerability. She needs money because she's not got custody of her small daughter, and someone offers her money to do something in return, which gets her involved in something like a criminal underworld and possibly a murder plot. In among that plot, that murder plot, is a whole storyline about narcotics and America's drug culture and dependency on pills, prescription pills, which of course is a very important subject in contemporary America. It's a dire subject at the moment, and the film captures that very well. You could read the central character desperately trying to make sense of her daily life by recording little guides to it that she carries around, listening to on headphones all day, slipping out of contact with reality, facing her own degeneration, unable to protect her offspring, as something of an allegory for contemporary US life. She is wandering through a landscape that is shot beautifully, but which is filled with resistance. It reminded me of that William Morris line, you can't get art without resistance in the materials. This is not a landscape that wants to be beautiful. Its beauty is the beauty of decay and of rough, raw surfaces that are not able to be used anymore. Machinery that's running down, like her brain, machinery that's going wrong, that's been abandoned, and that gives the film a very particular flavour, I think, that it handles extremely well and that runs through it like a thread. That said, although she has this kind of allegorical quality, she also then gets involved in a very exciting plot that will keep you watching. It's a little bit schlocky actually in places. It's a little bit sub-Hitchcockian. I found that quite fun. I like it when plot kind of rears its head. I have students who say that to me about Hamlet, and they say, it's so abrupt, it's so almost it's cheap, and it's like, well, plot is a little bit cheap. That's the thing about plot. The mechanics of plot, like all of these post-industrial warehouses and forms of machinery we see in the film, that it's not supposed to be hyper sophisticated. It roots the story in something concrete and material that keeps it going. But for all that plot is used perhaps a bit in a slightly heavy-handed way in this film, it really doesn't matter, because at the core of the film is this extraordinary relationship between the director and the central actor. I think that is what has kept this film alive. The sense that her face carries the film. So as we watch her act, we see micro expressions drift across her face. We see her face move between incredible generosity to the camera, just pouring emotion at us with no boundary, to a kind of pinched withholding, often in moments. And it's that mix of release and withholding that characterizes the film as well, including the landscape, the urban landscape, which invites you in and draws your eye, as per the title of the film, but also pushes it away. I was reminded of something that Pasolini said about casting Maria Callas as Medea in his film of the Euripides play. He says, her face reminded me of the Anatolian mountains, the landscape where the film was set. You have to accept that a camera objectifies to some extent, and it's in that relationship between subject and object. What can the person's face and kind of demeanor disclose, and what can it withhold? That movement between looking at and looking kind of into or with someone. This film is about that dynamic, because that's what happens to the central character. She gets sucked into the life of someone she stares at through a window. But it's also what happens to us as we watch. We are told the story because there's obviously a deep creative collaboration between the actress and the director. She is allowing him to film her, and he is eliciting from her something which is dynamic and monumental at the same time. And it's that confidence, that trust, that faith, that commitment, that energy that this film has, and it brings all of that to cinema. It really is an act of faith, and God knows America's going to need one. So for me, I think this is a film you've got to go out and see. We need to support this kind of filmmaking.